is the first in a series of videos which I've been inspired to make by my friend, the very gorgeous Victoria Sharman. It's going to be a series of videos on what you can do to take shop-bought clothes and alter them to fit you if you're an active woman. And by active woman, I mean somebody who works out a lot, someone who participates in a lot of sport, because I've found personally, through my friends like Victoria and other active women, that there are quite a few common fitting problems that you encounter if you're active, which means that if you want to buy clothes, girly clothes, pretty dresses, that sort of thing, you can't, because the garments don't fit you, even if you're really fit and you're really slim. So there's a few common problems, and I was inspired to create this video series because my friend Victoria, she went out this weekend to buy a dress for a wedding, a pretty girly dress, and no matter how many times she tried different dresses on, she couldn't find a dress that fitted her. And the problem that she came across was something that I've nicknamed the man back, which is a really common issue that I find I have personally have this problem, and other active women have the problem that you try a garment on, it fits you really nicely across the waist, it might fit you across the bust, but it's too tight around the back and shoulders because you've got a really broad back, because you work out, you're healthy, and you've got a lot of lean muscle mass. So I'm going to talk a little bit in this video about why that happens, why it is that active women can't get clothes to fit them across the back and shoulders. That's going to be the topic of this video, and then I'm going to make a few more videos about other common fitting problems. The main ones that I've found from talking to my friends are if you buy trousers and you're an active woman, you generally can't get trousers that fit you around the thighs because you've got nice, strong, muscular thighs because you work out loads and you squat and you do lower body exercises. And the trousers that you buy, they might fit you around the waist and around the bum and hips, but they'll be too tight around the thighs, or you buy them to fit your thighs and they're too big everywhere else. Or certain styles of trousers, you can't buy them at all. So sort of skinny fit jeans are really popular at the moment. If you've got big thighs, you can't get skinny fit jeans that fit you. Okay? So I hope this is useful. If you're an active woman, I hope this will help you to get clothes that fit you. And if you're like me, an amateur dressmaker, I hope it will give you some insight into some of the fitting problems you might encounter if you're making something for a more active woman, and what you can do to get around that. So let's talk about the man back, the problem of the broad back, why clothes don't fit you, the reasons behind it, and a few tips and tricks what you can do to take shop-bought clothes and alter them. So I hate to break it to you ladies, but the problem of the man back, the issue of this big broad back, it's actually got very little to do with your back at all. It's all to do with your tits. Now, if you're a man watching this video, you're probably going to love the next 5 or 6 minutes because I'm going to talk pretty exclusively about breasts, so you'll probably like that. But in order to explain why things don't fit you across the back, I need to talk to you a little bit about the garment industry and about measurements across the bust. 3 important measurements: the under bust measurement, the full bust measurement, and the upper bust measurement. Now, if you're a woman, you've probably bought at least one bra in your lifetime. Whether you still wear it or not, I don't know. Whether you've burnt it, it's up to you. But when you were fitted for a bra, then you would have had 2 measurements taken from you. Your under bust measurement and your full bust measurement. And it's the difference between those 2 measurements that gives you your cup size. Okay, so that's it's usually assigned a letter. I haven't got the actual measurements here. You know, it's got a couple of moths in the room though, because it's quite late and they're all flocking around the lights. I haven't got a chart here to show exactly what the difference is, but essentially if there's a small difference between your under bust measurement and your full bust measurement, you're going to be an A cup, and the bigger that difference becomes, the larger your cup size, and the further down the alphabet you get towards the D's and double D's and so forth. Okay. Now, the garment industry, it's all about making clothes to fit as many women as possible so that they can sell as many units as possible. And so generally, most stores will assume, and we're just talking about regular women's sizes here, we're not talking about plus sizes, and we're not talking about petite sizes, just regular clothes. The majority of stores are going to assume that you're a B cup or a C cup, because the majority of the women in the UK are a B cup or a C cup. And remember, it's the ratio between the 2 measurements that's important, not actually the measurements themselves. So if I'm a clothes manufacturer and I'm making something for the mass market, I'm going to make it with a B cup in mind. And so I'm going to make it with the assumption that the difference between the under bust measurement, we use Dolores here as an example, the difference between the under bust measurement here and the full bust measurement around here is going to be roughly the same. And then we get to the upper bust measurement, which I'm going to show you on me because it's easier to see than it is on Dolores. The upper bust measurement is the measurement which goes around the back, underneath the arms and across the top of the breasts here. Okay, that's your upper bust measurement. You're probably not familiar with your upper bust measurement because you generally don't have to take it for bra fitting. But it's really significant if you're an active woman. I'm going to explain why. So I've never studied fashion or dressmaking formally, but I've found that generally when a garment's manufactured, there's an assumption made by the person making the garment. And that assumption is that the upper bust measurement and the under bust measurement are broadly the same. And then you've got your full bust measurement in the middle because you expect there to be a nice curve between those 2 points. Now, in active women, the under bust measurement and the upper bust measurement are not the same. They're far from the same. Now, I know that I'm not a fitness magazine cover model by any stretch of the imagination, but I do work out. And so if I hold my arm up like this, not just knocking my dress dummy over, you can see this line here, look. You see how much of the shape of my body is affected by this line, all right? Now, you wouldn't expect to see this line being so far out from my body in a woman who wasn't so active, a woman that didn't work out. And that line is created by me having more muscle mass in my back, underneath my shoulders and in my lats. Because I do upper body weight, I do upper body exercises, I do body weight exercises, pull-ups and push-ups and things like that. So the majority of women don't do those exercises, and so they're going to have a smaller measurement. That means that their under bust measurement and their upper bust measurement is going to be roughly the same. An active woman like myself and like my gorgeous friend Vicky, you're going to have a much larger upper bust measurement because the upper bust measurement incorporates this part of the back, okay, the broad part of the back here where you've got those lovely big chunks of muscle mass there. So try and stick with me on this because it starts to become significant. If my upper bust measurement and my under bust measurement are vastly different, then the difference between my full bust measurement and my upper bust measurement are also going to be different. That ratio is going to be really small. And when a garment manufacturer designs a garment and they assume a certain difference between upper bust and full bust, if you don't fit into that ratio, the garment is really not going to fit you. So I know I'm 94 centimetres across the full bust. If I'm 94 centimetres across here, a garment manufacturer is going to assume that if I'm a B cup, then I'm about 89 centimetres around the upper bust. So they're going to think the circumference of this part of the garment, the part of the garment that takes in the shoulders, they're going to think that's 89 centimetres. Now in reality, I know my upper bust measurement is 92.5 centimetres. So if I buy a garment based on my full bust measurement and I put it on, it's going to be 3.5 centimetres too small across this part of the body, across the shoulders. And the garment's not going to fit me. And not only is it not going to fit me, I'm not going to be able to move in the garment because that area of the garment across the shoulders needs a little bit of ease in it, what we call ease, the extra bit of fabric that allows you to wriggle around inside clothes and do whatever it is you want to do while you're wearing them. So, if you're an active woman, you need to get it into your head that you have to start buying clothes based on your upper bust measurement and then learn a couple of really simple tricks, sewing techniques, to take a garment that fits you across the shoulders and back and alter it so it then fits you across the sort of in the bust and the waist. And I'm going to do another video on those techniques. That's inserting darts into a garment. It's really easy to do. You only need pins and a needle and thread to do it, but that's for another video. For now, what you need to know is how to buy a garment in the correct size to fit you across the back and shoulders, and then how to alter it. So to do that, you need to calculate what it is that the clothing manufacturer thinks you should be, the size the clothing manufacturer thinks you should be, and buy for that size. And it's really quite easy to do, and I'll use myself as an example. So remember, we think that the majority of clothing manufacturers think we're a B or a C cup. So if I measure across my upper bust here, and I know it's 92 centimetres. The clothing manufacturer thinks that if I'm 92 centimetres across here, that my full bust is going to be about 5 centimetres larger. So the clothing manufacturer thinks I'll be 97 centimetres across the full bust. I buy an item of clothing that's 97 centimetres across the full bust. So take your upper bust measurement, add 5 centimetres, and that figure is the size that you want to be buying. Now it's really easy with most clothing manufacturers in the UK and probably in the States as well to find out what the centimetre measurements are for different dress sizes, because we all know that in different shops you might be a 10 in one shop, you might be 14 in another. So just go online or ask in the store to see the size guides and buy the garment that has the measurement around the full bust. That's the number you've just calculated, so your upper bust measurement plus 5. If you try that garment on, that garment should fit you across the back and shoulders. Now it's not going to fit you properly across the bust, it's going to be a bit big because remember you're an active woman, so you've got slightly smaller breasts anyway because you have lower body fat percentage, but because of your broad back, your broad shoulders, you need to buy a garment that fits you around there, because we can take fabric out of the garment later when we bring it home, but we can't add fabric into the garment. So thing to remember is, and we're just talking about tops here and we'll talk about trousers another time, the reason that the clothes don't fit you is because the difference between your full bust and your upper bust is really small, whereas in a non-active woman it would be a large difference. So buy a garment based on your calculated full bust measurement, which is your upper bust measurement plus 5 centimetres, bring it home, and in a couple of days I'll have a video up online showing you how to alter that garment by inserting darts to make it fit you, and then you won't have such a problem. Now the more complicated the item, the more difficult it gets to insert darts, and I'll show you something really simple on a top or a blouse, but you can do it in dresses. Really, if you're an active woman and you want to have an item of clothing that's going to fit you perfectly, the best way to achieve that result is to learn how to make your own clothes. I know it's not something that people can generally go into off the bat, but I'm really passionate about dressmaking and about the results that you can achieve in terms of how good you can look if you make something that's fitted to your own body measurements. And there's loads and loads of videos online that have been put up by more professional dressmakers about how to take dress patterns and alter dress patterns using something called the small bust adjustment. That means you can buy a shop bought pattern, do a bit of voodoo with it using scissors and a bit of sticky tape, and then cut an item that's fitted perfectly to you and manufacture it. So just bear that in mind. But in the meantime, measure your upper bust measurement, so calculate what your full bust measurement is supposed to be, buy something that fits the full bust measurement, and then tune in to another video and I'll show you how to make that garment fit you. I hope this has been useful. Victoria, this is all for you, and you're going to be around here as my beautiful assistant, I'm sure, for the next video. Take care everybody, and thanks for watching.